Hey, good morning, friends. As I was watching this CBC interview, it popped into my mind, and I wanted to ask you before we get going and let me know in the comments below if you think it's a possibility that Daniel and the pink blanket in the tree was put there purposefully by Daniel sometime during the night before they called the RCMP to establish some items of their children away from their house at the pipeline so that it would give him more time to waste and avoid police detection and help assist him in building this false narrative within all of his buddies. Like, he brought in his buddies. Mike McMahon likes to call him the Pipeline Boys, and there's probably other people that we don't know about or people in the vicinity. Like, it gives them more reason to attract the searchers to a particular point, and that was perhaps the intent in planting it in the first place, because it was found by Malaya's side of the family. And in this circumstance, Daniel really needed to convince that side of the family, and they didn't believe Daniel at all. That he needed to get the heat off of himself. Just a little thought after I was watching this CBC interview. I'd love you to pick it up if you're on board and leave me a comment down below about what it is you actually think about this. Daniel planting the blanket in the tree in order to help sell his story to Malaya's side, that were going to be the ones that scrutinized him the most in the moment. They had a reason to bring in all of their friends and family to put on this pantomime like they're these victims in the circumstance. It helps build their sense of desperation. Well, it keeps them away from having to deal with the police because of the number of people that are showing up to help, quote unquote, search for Jack and Lily, even though that's not what happened, and it didn't go as planned, and that comes through in Janie's statements. Let's take a quick look at Daniel in this interview. Now, crazy as it sounds, it actually occurred to me as I was watching this particular part, and I'll replay this before we go and look at Daniel. Just when she mentioned the family finding it on their own, Malaya's family,
Jack and Lily's clothing to track their scent, but nothing was found other than a piece of Lily's blanket, which family members actually located on their own.
Family members actually located that on their own. I mean, it's a thought. We also know that Daniel showed that immediately he dismissed the blanket, and he was inconsistent in how he discussed the blanket. Like, he didn't know what it belonged to when it was first discovered, and then out comes this story about it going in the garbage and there being another piece, and one of Malaya's friends noticed the other piece sitting on the railing of the back deck, potentially, or that's what she says. She said on the railing. I don't know where exactly it was. But this blanket has been a bit of an enigma because, of course, we don't know its relevance to the rest of the situation other than it matches up with a blanket. It was torn in pieces, and Janie and Daniel, who are unreliable, say that it was thrown out sometime earlier and it was out in the garbage. Maybe it served its intended purpose. Maybe this blanket served its intended purpose with it being up in the tree somehow, wrapped around a branch, secured up there. And Malaya's family almost, they were telling it like they just found it. Like they just started searching, and the first thing that they did was find this blanket. Well, isn't that convenient? Right at the spot you just first decided to go searching, and people have been out there for days looking for evidence, items. It does scream as a stage scene, but I just thought it was a thought because, of course, I want to engage with you, my audience, and you have most of you have wonderful ideas and things to say about that. Let me know in the comments section below, and we'll talk about it in the live stream later.
Human remains detection dogs are specific to human remain odor, and that's completely different from live searching.
Oh, and here's the man himself. He's doing a little bobbing and weaving up there. He's got his head tilted. Let's hear what he has to say. There's something in particular that makes me think that he is shitting his pants a little bit. Pardon the term, because when you get put on the spot, here's a very clear, concise question from the CBC reporter. And Daniel responds with something that completely makes no sense. I mean, that could possibly happen, but here we have a suspect, in other words, with 2 children who are now missing, and they disappeared from his residence, and he's got all kinds of wacky stories. I would think that they have something to do with each other. This is just not a standing up and talking to the teacher in class type of mistake, and it happens. There's a lot more to it because, listen, this is on the 6 o'clock news on the CBC. Why would they edit in such a way to make you look like an idiot if it was no good? Like, it was not a good take. Like, he screwed up what it was he was trying to say. Can we retake that again? I messed up what it was I was trying to say. No, there's none of that. He just went with it. So let's listen to him. You'll understand. Timestamp 124 here.
Tell isn't expecting it will bring answers. So are you thinking that the dogs will go in there and won't find anything?
I know for 100% they won't find anything. I mean, that's probably why they waited this long to do it.
So, for 100% they won't find anything. Then he realizes what he just said, and it's how the problems that it's going to cause him. That's probably why they waited so long to do it. What does one thing have to do with the other? I know for a fact 100%. So what is it he's trying to say here? I know for 100% they won't find anything. That's probably why they waited so long to do it in the first place, because of course he's been signaling early on that he wanted these cadaver dogs in. But somehow they waited this long. Well, it's a different type of detection in this sense, right? When it comes to cadaver dogs. Think about that woman that they found missing after 40 years. Hopefully we don't have to go through the same here, by the way. And there was a shoe of this woman that had decomposition on it, like 15 feet buried in the ground after 40 years. Now, if something happened in that trailer, and we're suspicious that it has, to at least one of the children, those dogs should be able to detect it. The only issue with all of this is the time frame and how efficient they were in removing any sort of removing the bodies. And there's two separate packages to have to deal with here. Not one body, 2 small packages.
What? It's just to keep the public informed, I guess. To keep the public informed, I guess. They waited this long to do it. Won't find anything.
Are you thinking that the dogs will go in there and won't find anything?
I know for 100% they won't find anything. I mean, that's probably why they waited this long to do it. It's just to keep the public informed, I guess.
To keep the public informed, that's so bizarre. Circular talk, indirect. There's always a bit of avoidance with Daniel in this circumstance, but I'm trying to get a better feel. It's difficult in this clip. I don't think he's too enthused. He's got, some concern, but he's always concerned because, of course, there's bigger fish to fry for him. Oh, Daniel, what did you do? Anyway, let me know what you guys think about. What's your thoughts about the blanket in the tree? And the family finding it.